from Mediaites. Democrat senator tells Fox News he's not vouching for the man in a Abrego Garcia case and will support a court deporting him. Now, this is a huge turnaround from a guy who nearly called him an American and stopped himself and then called him a resident. And with the media screaming to the high heavens, Maryland father, for a Democrat senator who was leading the charge to come out and be like, I'm not vouching for the guy and I'm okay with him being deported now. Wow, talk about a heavy 180. Now the issue for Democratic Senator Van Hollen is simply the issue of due process, not the MS-13 gang member accused of mercilessly beating his wife on more than one occasion. I think it's fair to say that they walked face first into this one. And here's the best part. 4 more Democrats are going down there. This is not, I don't know what they're thinking with this. You know, we are going to be having a debate in the culture war going over all the legal documents, which I believe shows he's gotten his due process. But the American people, of all of the things Trump has done, immigration is his most popular issue. Why are they setting themselves up like this?
To make me laugh because I needed a good chuckle.
The Democrats are sitting back and they're like, what can we do that'll make Phil laugh today?
Absolutely. I mean, it's hilarious. They're falling over themselves, siding with the worst people that are here, that are their whole story is irredeemable. Like, he's here illegally. He's probably a member, or he's alleged to be a member of a gang, but it's been multiple courts that have said it, I believe. And I don't remember what the other person or the other organization that made allegations that he's in a gang, but they're reputable organizations. There's his ex-girlfriend has filed charges or at least made claims of abuse.
His ex-girlfriend did?
I don't remember if it was
his wife.
Oh, it's his wife. Okay, my bad. All right, so fair enough. But this only goes to my point. He is totally
You're
not sympathetic
the
at all.
Democrats' favorite voter.
Right. Wait, Shane. Do you want to read the first sentence of that paragraph right
Let me
there?
get my old man glasses.
Old man glasses. Just starting with
here?
at. Yeah.
At a master calendar hearing, the respondent, through counsel, admitted the factual allegations contained in the NTA and conceded removability as charged. Should I keep going?
Based on the respondent's admissions and concessions, the court found his removability to be established by clear and convincing evidence as required by INA 240C3. So this is the document from 2019, August 9th and September 27th, where they again confirmed he was to be removed. However, not to El Salvador, because a gang in Guatemala was threatening to kill him. This is the story. A Guatemalan gang was threatening his family, and they didn't feel that they could be protected in El Salvador. Now, the only question that needs to be asked based on this is, can he be deported somewhere else? The answer is yes, of course. And so then the error that the Trump administration made, they were supposed to have a USCIS interview with Abrego Garcia before sending him home. And they didn't. But under the Alien Enemies Act, he was allowed to do it. So, I feel like this horse, I would argue that we've beaten the dead horse on this story, but Democrats won't shut up about it. So let me just say we've ground the horse into glue at this point, because I don't know how many times we need to point out that this guy was found deportable, credibly an MS-13 gang member, now accused of beating his wife. And I guess I'll put it this way. We could have opened this show with the Hegseth Signalgate story.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah, but it's a fake story.
It's not.
The second Signalgate?
No,
it's a fake story.
The story about how the Department of Defense is a total mess. I mean, his former spokesperson is saying, on the record that, what exactly did he say? Month from hell inside of the Department of Defense? That's concerning. And this is a guy who worked for Trump in 2016, too. This is not just some lefty spokesperson that he inherited from the civil service. This is a true MAGA believer who was oh, come on.
Who else worked for Trump in 2016?
And there are a number of other people have come out.
In his 2016 term, it's 2017.
Why would he have hired him to be his chief Pentagon spokesperson and lead the communications at the NSA if he didn't believe that this guy was legit?
Why were there 3 people leaking information to the press?
Listen, you got to take this
allegedly,
seriously.
and the 3 in the article that was he a chief of staff or
he was the chief Pentagon spokesperson until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he wrote an op-ed in Politico where he actually denied those the 3 advisors that they ever leaked anything. So I want to add allegedly here because I do feel like lawsuits are coming. All of these guys were
Good
trying
point.
to
allegedly.
all of this is
stand
very
corrected.
much allegedly. And all this is also allegedly because they allegedly leaked documents about attacking Iran to try to preempt and try to prevent the strike by leaking it out there early. And that could be a part of the problem at the Pentagon. But it is unusual for this guy to be resigning or probably fired and told to resign and then have this happen. I don't think we'll see any shakeups there.
Well, what are your thoughts on the Abrego Garcia story then?
On this story, I mean, it is a hard one because I do think that
Why?
politically, I think it's politically, you're right, that the immigration story is on Trump's side. I mean, he was elected to seal off the border, deportations. I think the due process is the part that the Democrats are arguing about. Like, they want to make sure that there is due process, and obviously the halting. This is the guy who was the hairdresser, right? The makeup artist?
No.
Okay.
This is the wife beating MS-13 gang member.
Got it. All right, then I'm not fully up to date on this one. I was.
The hairdresser's a fake story too.
Why is that one fake?
Because they're not asylum seekers. You don't travel from Venezuela through the entirety of Central America, come to the United States and say, now I need asylum. You go to Mexico. You go to any other country. It's typically expected of any asylum seeker to go to the first safe country they get to. So for Venezuela...
That was supposed to be remain in Mexico under Trump.
Right. So this guy, he's like, Venezuela is dangerous for me. I better travel through all these other countries.
I have no doubt that he tried to get into the U.S. illegally and live here illegally. Of
Indeed.
course. Yeah.
And then when he went through, it's an executive hearing. We call them judges. They said his tattoos are MS-13, and he got deported to El Salvador.
To that horrible...
For MS-13 gang members.
Yeah, and they confirmed that he is an MS-13 member.
So he was found to be an MS-13 gang member in the standard procedure by his crown tattoos on his wrists.
Yeah.
Which the left is arguing are just crowns and they're not MS-13. And so I would just
They want him to have due process, essentially, right?
What is the due process of an illegal immigrant?
I mean, I think that they have the right to immigration court, right?
And they did.
And he lost.
Yes. He is deportable and he had crowns.
He lost during the Biden years, right? Is that right?
I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, well, I think that'd be interesting to find out. Because, I mean, you might say, oh, the Trump administration has different criteria.
It's
Listen, I can't really debate this one in the same way because I thought it was the Maryland hairdresser that we were talking about, or makeup artist.
He wasn't Maryland, was he?
Oh,
It was California.
Oh, the makeup artist was in California.
I don't know.
But the
Look,
point is, you're
so
right.
There's so many illegals that have come over since Joe Biden took office and stuff. So there's probably a Maryland hairdresser that's here illegally. So you're probably close to it.
Maryland.
I think I'm conflating it.
Yeah,
I'm conflating it because, yes, some Democrats are doing this, and I do question. I mean, I think there's just a fear that it's happening so quickly and so recklessly, and that people are not getting their due process in the process of it, especially when they're saying we're going to deport homegrown.
They are getting their due process.
Do you
Each
think
and every one of them.
Then why would the judge halt the guy that was being deported to Venezuela?
Active judges.
Boasberg.
Yeah, right. So
Why you roll your eyes?
Okay, so here's a question for you.
He's still a judge.
Why has Trump?
Even if he's an activist judge, if you want to say that, he's still a judge.
But Phil gave you a reason. It's that they're political activists who are trying to obstruct Trump. That's your answer. Why has
judge is
Trump
still a
received
judge.
40% of all universal? Let me phrase unconstitutional universal injunctions.
I mean, I think that
81 out of like
he
200.
was definitely pushing the boundaries of the Constitution. He tried to get rid of what was it? The
birthright citizenship.
Yeah, he tried to get rid of that. He's definitely
He didn't try. He is actively doing so now, and it's going to court.
But the point and the
we'll see
point
the
of
Supreme Court.
Except
point of it,
birthright
I doubt that
citizenship
will-
is falsely interpreted and does not exist.
He is pushing the limits of the Constitution every single day.
In what way?
I mean, with that alone.
But the Constitution says,
And also by defying
explicitly-
a judge's order, whether you don't agree or not, like you should have halted that plane and put the person down and then gone through the
Supreme
process.
Court sided with him on that
And the
regard.
appeal,
The Supreme Court sided with him.
they allowed him to be deported.
The Supreme Court said no one can direct the executive branch to engage in foreign policy. And so the issue was should Abrego Garcia be returnable? They should facilitate his return. And the argument from the conservatives or from Trump, that if he were to try to come back to the U.S., Trump must facilitate that return. Otherwise, we have nothing to do with it.
But then there's just like these random guys, like these German tourists that didn't have a booking on, in Hawaii, and they are suddenly getting deported. I just think there's a feeling like, and then you're seeing students on the street just being like muzzled basically and deported because of their political activity on universities. And that's a little scary. I'm sorry.
Why though?
I mean, it is because, okay, first of all, you're a free speech guy. You were out there, Occupy Wall Street. What if you were like misidentified and deported and you were an American the entire time? And
Have
by
any
the way,
Americans been deported?
it could happen.
Sure, and if it does, it'll be a problem. But for the time being, all the enforcement's been under the law.
But even
either
if you're
INA
not
or
an
AEA.
American and don't you think that like part of the rights of being in this country are free speech?
Not if you're illegal.
I think it's scary that non-Americans are in our country calling for violence on campuses, and the campuses aren't doing anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's on the universities for sure. They should be dealing with that.
So in the case of Mahmoud Khalil, this is a guy who was organizing whether it was intentional or otherwise, violent protests where employees were attacked and threatened, buildings were taken over, Jewish students were attacked on campus. And even people presumed to be Jewish weren't
Did he
even Jewish.
direct people to attack Jewish people?
Doesn't matter. He organized the event. So if you organize a parade, if you organize a dance party, but then your dance party robs a bank, you're getting in trouble for it.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe you're not going to be charged with robbing the bank. They're going to say, like, whatever you were involved with.
yeah, you're kind of a conspirator.
They're
was
going to
your fault.
RICO you and you're going to jail.
I think it's
Right.
rich how the Democrats have just been speed running through these different causes. First, it was Mahmoud Khalil, and then they means tested it quickly and realized, oh, wait, this guy isn't good for us. Then they moved on to this most recent gang member that they said wasn't. And have you seen his tattoos on his knuckles where they're trying to say, like, oh, he is not, this isn't supposed to be a simple form.
I mean,
no.
This is standard
it's
operating
like-
procedure.
This always happens on both sides of the aisles. They pick their like political person that they get behind, and if it's like it's either like Laken Riley, now it's Mahmoud Khalil.
Doesn't it feel
Lincoln
like the
Riley was
Democrats-
murdered.
No, I know, but this is cynical political shit that they do. It's on both sides.
I have a problem with the both
wait,
sides argument.
But what do you mean? Like, why is it cynical?
It's cynical because this is what they're doing. Like they are taking one person's example and they're blowing it up to
But he's a legit criminal, and we have 20 million or
hold
so
on, hold on.
illegal
Listen,
immigrants.
I don't really-
Wait.
I don't-
I'm gonna agree with you 100%. Agreed. The conservatives prop up a young woman who was murdered by an illegal immigrant criminal gang member, and the Democrats prop up the criminal illegal immigrant gang member. I know which side I'm on.
Listen,
Cynical or otherwise, you're right. The Republicans are like, this poor woman was murdered by these evil, criminal gang members, and the Democrats are like, please don't hurt our criminal illegal gang members.
It's
I
standard-
can't really argue on this topic to be completely fair with the topics. I haven't.
Okay, so
I'm not going to argue in favor of these people because I don't even know their full history.
Take the individual specific people
right.
out of it, right? You look at look at the people that the Democrats champion and what tends to happen after all of the information comes out.
Yeah.
Right? The guy that they were championing that ended up getting all what's the town? Kenosha burnt down. The man was trying to kidnap kids. Mm-hmm. He had a knife. The police shot him. And then Kamala Harris goes and takes
assaulted a woman.
Yeah, I mean, like he's trying to kidnap kids. He assaulted them. He had a cop. It
Yeah,
was
they
a,
have to
It
do
was a
bet-
quote unquote
Yeah.
good shoot. And Kamala Harris goes and takes pictures with him. Right.
and
George
NFL players
Floyd,
put his name on their helmet.
yeah, George Floyd had committed a crime. Right, and he died in police custody. Now the-
But that was like a nothing.
He was
murder.
chewing a speedball behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Yes.
And when the police removed him, they brought him to the vehicle to be arrested. You could watch all the body camera footage. It's all in the video. And he fought them.
Yeah.
And he said, "Put me on the ground. Put me on the ground. Put me on the ground." So they pulled him out of the vehicle and put him on the ground.
Did they have to kill him on the ground?
So let me finish. A few minutes later, Derek Chauvin shows up having no idea what's going on and performed what the Minnesota police trained him to do, because even the defense showed this in the continuum of force argument in the criminal trial for Chauvin. He was told to do that. So he shows up. There's a guy on the ground. He has no idea what's happening. They say, do the restraint. He says, okay. They put so you know how it's bunk? The cop who is simply standing in front of people with his hands up, not involved in the Chauvin incident at all, just off to the side, they put him in prison for life. Why?
And then the
They
Ahmed
didn't care what was true. They just want to lock them all up.
and the Ahmed Arbery case, that guy, Ahmed Arbery, he committed burglary. The guys that shot him, they were going to. It was a bad law, an old law that they were.
What do you
following.
guys want me to say? the Democrats pick bad, cynical political characters to
That's
back.
Republicans.
That's the
But
point.
they
the
pick
right,
the better
but the
ones.
right is the
That's
right
the
is
point that
trying
we're
to
making.
maintain, sustain safety and order right now, and the left promotes
The
violence
question
and
is
chaos.
like, when do they overstep the boundaries?
Well, right now, going back to what Elad was saying with speed running these different people is like what we were talking about before the show. The Democrats are desperate
disarray.
to
And
find.
Let me add this.
And things are just happening so fast and furiously, and that's why I think there's a lot of concern.
So
And the way it's happening, it's like kind of.
But we voted for mass deportations. At least
indeed,
I did.
when we were getting the show ready, I pointed out that we often
Without due
for the
process,
past
though.
Due
That's not
process
true.
we just talked about
They're-
with
they're
the
get their due
illegals.
process. I got the court document right here for Abrego Garcia that says he admitted to removability. So the question is, was he warranted a USCIS interview before final deportation? The answer is yes, but their argument is, at first we made an error in doing so without checking for this. However, under the Alien Enemies Act, we are allowed to get rid of him regardless. So, but the point I was going to make a moment ago,
But isn't that
when we're setting
going
up
to be-
the show, I was pointing out that we often try to find a prominent individual that represents a core of the story or the parties involved. There are no Democrats. This is what it took us. We were at it was 7:52. We finally got the thumbnail up because I was like, I guess Trump. I guess Trump's the only political character who's involved in the news. There's Van Hollen, but he's backing away. There's no Schumer anymore. There's no AOC anymore. There's no Kamala. There's no Biden. There is no central Democrat Party member.
And arguably those members that you saw in that picture, even though I'm not fully aware of the story, like they are more from the progressive wing. They are not
Right.
really from the party.
There's no leadership.
They don't want to back these. They don't want to get involved in this fight because, like you said, they don't know the
Tara,
full
but
story.
even I think Cory Booker was even virtue signaling, at least saying that like these deportations were wrong, and specifically on the gang members too. I think I'm not a usual believer of Trump's 5D chess, but it almost feels like he is baiting Democrats into defending these
not 5D
otherwise
chess.
these
It's
otherwise.
checkers.
I mean,
Yeah.
because and then it always comes out like, oh, they defended this guy. They said there was no way he was a gangster.
Let me ask you a
His
question.
wife covered up his knuckles in all of these pictures because it was like obvious that he had MS-13 written on his knuckles, and the Democrats couldn't do their research to find that out like before deciding to defend him.
Let me ask you a question.
yeah.
Do you think that Van Hollen and these other 4 Democrats that are going down to El Salvador are doing so with the intent to influence the foreign government of El Salvador into taking action on their behalf?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
You
no,
think?
because I think the president of El Salvador is so,
So what do you think the Democrats want if they're not trying to?
They're trying to draw attention to it. But here's the thing.
So
like
are
you
they?
said,
Have they stated anything about wanting the government to take action?
yeah, of course they have.
So wait. So the Democrats have publicly stated they want El
I
Salvador.
mean, I haven't read it. Like, you're asking me to talk about a story I really don't know that much about. I'm just speaking in generalizations. But I know.
So let's just hammer
Okay.
out the quick details. This is not a gotcha. It's literally the Democrats. There's now 5. Have they made requests of the El Salvador government to do something?
I don't know.
Anybody?
I don't know. I
I'm
haven't
not sure.
read the
I just think they're
story.
going down for a photo shoot.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, that's what I
what
would
was-
think.
what was the
I think they're
express
trying to draw
stated purpose?
to draw attention to it.
They've actually said what their intention was.
I don't know, but I'm just
All
saying
right.
from
And
like a
does anybody want to get it?
political-
Because I know everybody who's listening right now in the audience knows exactly what the Democrats said about this trip.
I think Van Hollen said that he wanted to have him back. The Democrats wanted him to come back
All
to the
of them
country.
said that.
Yeah, that's what they wanted.
All
Okay.
of them said that their purpose to go down was to get him back.
Yep.
To get the foreign government to take an action pertaining to U.S. foreign policy, which is a violation,
then all of the media-
violation of the Logan Act,
Yeah.
which specifically states
I'm gonna-
any U.S. citizen, wherever he may be, who without the authority of the U.S. directly or indirectly commences or carries on correspondence or intercourse with any foreign government or any officer or any agent thereof with the intent to influence the measures or conduct of any foreign government or of any officer or agent thereof in relation to any disputes or controversies with the U.S., or to defeat the measures of the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years.
Can I just
Donald Trump explicitly set forth a deal with El Salvador's government pertaining to U.S. foreign policy under the Alien Enemies Act. That is the direction and purview of the executive branch, their entitlement, their right under the Constitution. These members of Congress are in direct and overt violation of the Logan Act. I believe that we need to see some action by the DOJ.
Yeah.
They're trying to do a reverse Elian Gonzalez.
Lock them up.
Yeah.
Lock them up.
Okay, here's the thing. So these 4 Democrats of members of Congress, some of them young, freshman-ish progressives, they go down there and they stage their political, photo op, whatever you want to call it. the rest of the party, you have like someone like Gavin Newsom saying this is a distraction, and they kind of know they're being baited. Trump sets the story up every morning. He did this for the press. When I covered him for the first 4 years of his administration, he sent out a tweet and he would literally say to his staff, watch the libs. I'm going to own the libs today. I'm going to overreact. So they're starting to think to themselves, maybe we are missing the boat by overreacting. This is a distraction. We cannot jump onto every single thing that he gives to them.
They are
I
getting
think you're
eaten alive on the
mischaracterizing
issue.
this because do you think Cory Booker is one of these far left progressives?
Yes.
I think he's
kind of, he's
no. As far as Democrats go,
Yes.
I think as far as Democrats go, Cory Booker's a moderate.
Did you hear he came out recently?
As
Like
I mean,
the closet?
everybody thought he was gay, but
Rosario was set up. Like that was a beard.
well, everybody thought Cory Booker was gay, but apparently he was at like an event where he was asked by some gay people, like a trans person, and he said something about we, the LGBT community.
Oh yeah.
It was something like that, and then it was glossed over. Like nobody really paid attention that he was saying that he was LGBTQ.
Just like Barack Obama.
I think.
Are you sure about that one? Because I remember seeing that clip online. I don't think that he was coming out.
My point is, he said we in the LGBT community. I'm paraphrasing.
Ally. Oh, there's a letter in there. A for allies. So he may have been.
There's no A in ally for LGBTQ.
There is LGBTQ. It's like A. There's some
think A is
ally.
asexual.
Asexual.
You guys are killing me.
Are you for real? Wait.
There's definitely an ally.
No, there is not.
Yes.
No, there
Had it
is.
on the way
you're-
onto
There's
into
something
the
in
show
there.
today.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.